place is that they tend to metamorphose into something bigger, and the government knows that beyond the specific case of Nnamdi Kanu, you and other opposition politicians, he's an opposition politician, you often intend to wake up the spirit of the masses who say, you know, they're fed up with bad governance. I mean, your movement, by the way, is called Revolution Now.
Yes, and I won't deny that. In fact, I think the traction around this particular protest was beyond just Nnamdi Kanu. People are fed up with the system, and they cannot deal with the fact that somebody who hasn't committed any offense known to law, an offense that is triable, that's the way I'll put it, is held in detention. Whereas that same week, the president is pardoning drug dealers, kidnappers and murderers, and Nnamdi Kanu, who you can't establish any offense against, is kept perpetually detained, he's tortured, he's harassed, his lawyers, his lead lawyers were speaking, is in detention.
I have to say that the time is ridiculously long.
Yes.
I mean, upwards of 7 years in detention. I mean,
So
it doesn't make any sense at all.
You see, the larger Nigerian nation is itself an open prison. I spent 5 years here over a boat.
So sort of Gaza.
Yes.
That was
But Gaza is better than Nigeria in some ways.
I wouldn't go that far, to be honest.
Gaza, throughout this period of bombardment, had electricity. so I heard some kind of water supply that you can't get here. The sewage was. I am not in any way saying this, so you don't misunderstand me in the future. But Nigeria is, you can't even define what is wrong with Nigeria. It's like a nation that is at war, with itself and against itself. Yeah. And when you see this happen, what we have experienced with Nnamdi Kanu, with terrorists walking around, the federal government even went and attended the naming ceremony of one of the bandits after they met in Katsina. You would ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I in a country like this? And that is probably why most people call Nnamdi Kanu a prophet, that he saw into the future, that this country is not the kind of country you want to have your children in. And there's nothing wrong if you want your own country. This international law recognizes that. If I declare Shura Republic tomorrow, what are you going to do to me? Arrest me and detain me perpetually? No, it is not done. So what we're saying here, when you see injustice, you know it, and you don't need to be told that the way and manner injustices are handled in Nigeria have colorations. Sometimes it may not be ethnic, but it might be religious, it might be political. I was around throughout Abiola's persecution. Abiola did not declare more than saying, I'm president because I won an election. He died in detention. They kept saying, we were fighting in those days, Abiola is in detention, Abiola is being handled by the courts, it's being handled by the court. He wasn't being tried. The Supreme Court had gone on break. So the same thing that I'm alarmed, and I'm saying this to anybody who is watching, I'm alarmed, I'm shocked that we're in a country where there's anybody who feels what is being done to Nnamdi Kanu is okay, And I say this particularly of my Yoruba brothers who make these comments. Some of them even have the audacity to send me messages personally. They'll be sending you all these videos, because your brother is in power. But I was the only person when Sunday Igboho's house was raided and all his people were, including his cat, was killed. I was the only person in this Abuja who went to the Federal High Court who pushed the DSS out of the front of the courtroom. And that was the day his people were granted bail. Nobody talked about it. Yeah. There are Yoruba activists who went and invaded a radio station in Ibadan. Have you heard about them anymore? Even Sunday Igboho, my brother, is back. He's actually, he's moving around freely. Nnamdi Kanu has never carried a weapon before. Most of these guys have done things like that. Why are we treating the Igbo man differently? And I'm not saying that to whip up something, because I'm ashamed, of course, of these Southeastern leaders. Because when I was on your show last time, you remember, I was saying that Nnamdi Kanu is being kept in detention deliberately by Southeastern politicians. They showed themselves in the last few days. The deputy speaker was asking people not to join peaceful protests. All the governors kept quiet about it. The Ohaneze Ndigbo person, I heard is a Wike version of Ohaneze Ndigbo. is saying that nobody should go out to fight for the freedom of a person who is innocent of any crime. And we are here saying it is normal. It is normal. Even the policemen who were shooting at us today were fighting for them a month ago to get their pension and gratuity. They were the ones shooting at us. They saw me today, came close to me, and they were shooting directly at me. 4 times today. The policemen I fought for, well, it wasn't.
Because it is Nigeria. You get what I mean? I don't like that person. He's facing any injustice. Maybe he deserves it. Until it happens to you, then it's going to be like the heaven must probably fall. Hey, make una come see, oh, can you see what just happened to me? Which kind of country are we living in? When injustice is yet to happen to some people, they don't believe it exists. And that's sad, because the level of injustice in Nigeria being perpetuated by these lawless rogues, they are like open secrets. They are not hidden. It's more or less like every now and then they are just taunting everybody. What you going to do? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? So they are using their court delays and the rest of that, choosing which of the court judgment they are going to obey or which of them they are not going to look at and all that, making themselves above the laws that were supposed to be above everybody, right? Just like some of you are cherry picking who you should feel sorry for or who you should feel empathy for or not, right? They are also cherry picking, right? Who should get justice or who should not in that contraption. So Nnamdi Kanu is asking for 90 days. I don't know if the court is going to do that tomorrow, but why are they worried? Parrotimi, because they don't want to take any responsibility.
The 1999 Constitution, which guarantees Nigerians' right to protest. And what does this mean for the fate of protest in Nigeria?
Number one, this question should help you to see the lie that is called Nigeria. Constitution, that is suggestive of something that the people came together to give to themselves. A band of bandits wrote what you are calling the Constitution, and the section you are citing is as useless as the persons who crafted it. And I would explain myself. In a democracy, there should never be a need for a police permit before you may have a protest. That the police was informed was so that they will provide security. That a court would presume to curtail the right of citizens to protest peacefully in a democracy is even suggestive of the fact that you are not in a democracy, you are only mimicking and pretending to be in a democracy. It is actually completely unheard of that in a democracy, citizens are required to obtain the permit of their paid employees before they may congregate peacefully. So when you talk about the police and the order it was waving around, I'm sorry, Obasanjo was the president of this country, so was Jonathan. And you don't have to listen to Dele Farotimi, you can listen to the professor of law, Oshibaju. Our judiciary is unfit for purpose. It does exactly as it is told by the executive, and it does not serve the cause of justice. So that they are brandishing something and waving it around, you cannot restrict. It can be, a order is only as useful as its lawfulness. You can say people should, you can arrest those who are violent in protesting, you can arrest those who break the law, but there should never be a situation where you are saying citizens cannot protest. So that the Nigerian police was busy waving an order around. I have been the victim of a court that tried me and sent that remanded me in prison custody on a non-existent law. So what kind of law court order is going to stop citizens who are not out for violence from peacefully showing their displeasure with the government? Why I don't join protests is because I know that they are merely protesting to the deaf. How do you tell the deaf you don't like what is being done to you? A person who is intent on not hearing you, Why are you wasting your time shouting at him? It's a waste of time. The Nigerian state is deaf. It does not listen. So those who protest with the Nigerian state, when you talk about protest, it's suggestive of the person saying, no, I'm not happy with what you are doing. And he kept saying, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with this. The expectation is that the person to whom you are protesting have the capacity to hear you, and having heard you, he will recalibrate and do the right thing. It has never happened that the Nigerian state recalibrated and did the right thing. NSAS, they changed the name to SWAT. Today is RRS. It is the character and nature that has
The 1999 Constitution.
Nothing changes. Or should I say, the more things changes, the more they remain the same. So the awareness is already out. And you know what I mean? The old shenanigans, right? It has become more clearer for those who are not deliberately, right, like blind. You know something they say, you can only wake somebody who is sleeping. You can't wake somebody who is pretending to be sleeping. I still have people who are like laughing, mocking Showore and the rest of that, because they still don't grasp the full kind of like complexity of what is before them. You haven't grasped it if you are one of those who are still laughing and making jest of Showore, because the people you are dealing with, they are very much intentional. Nothing happens by accident or mistake. If you pay attention, because there's always a pattern. And when you continue to see the pattern and see the pattern, you don't ignore them because they barely affect you. It doesn't take 10 years to try somebody who has committed a crime, like they have done with Nnamdi Kanu. They've made a mess of it, total mess of it. So to save face, the right thing to do, but we all know why it is so difficult. It's easier to release terrorists, armed terrorists and the rest, than for them to swallow their pride, their shame, and their loss, and say, you know what, we've messed this whole thing up. Like we didn't handle it well. You know what we're going to do? Just let him go. But yeah, we can then begin to look for another means of what we can actually get on, which they won't. They won't get anything. Incriminating. Asking for your own country is a freedom of speech. Because nobody will suddenly just cut up and say, this is my country. It doesn't work like that. It's a process, and Nnamdi Kanu is not daft, except for those who chose to pretend that they didn't hear all he's been saying. Referendum is like voting, the same way you want to go and do 2027 votes. That's what referendum is. And a referendum means those of you who love Nigeria, you will still support and vote for Nigeria. You vote no. Those who are in support of a Biafra, they will vote yes. If the yes have it, yeah, that's it. That means majority wants it. If the no's have it, that's it. That means majority don't want it. So anything after that you can this, well, people have said they don't want it. So can you please, let's leave it for now. Of course, yeah, you can leave it for now for another 10 years. You can do your referendum every 10 years until you get what you want. But there's something about referendum too. There's some of you who actually hate Nnamdi Kanu. Maybe because of the way his message hits you, right? It's like a double barrel something. Where you are trying to process one, another one hits you, then you become so triggered, offended. One thing about referendum is that, in case if you don't know, is this. There's always going to be something good coming out of it. If everybody says, you know what, oh, it's right, or you know what, we want this, doesn't mean that you are going to actually really break up straight away. But there could be a chance, right, where for the first time, a part of Nigeria is renegotiating their participation in this union. Because it's supposed to be a union. The way Nigeria is, right, it was supposed to be like a union. So that means a region, they may succeed in renegotiating and say, okay, you know what, don't go. What do you want us to give to you? Okay, we want autonomy. We want to have our own system. We want to have our own system of governance, our own security. We want to have our own economy designed by ourselves and all of that. if you don't want us to go, then we'll share this with you, share this and this and this with you. Say, okay, all right, that's fair. If that's what you want, but please don't go, please. So it's not always about gidigbo, gidigbo, zogu, zogu. No, if you pay attention, no. But the criminal politicians knows that any means of any kind of like anything that will make them part with what they have called their general cake, which is what Nigeria is to them, which they have shared among themselves. Where you have oil, where you have gas, where you have other, rare earth minerals, these guys have privatized them to themselves. So if a region successfully renegotiated their own arrangement of this union, you'll be cutting off some unknown interest. Most of them who have never been to the eastern part of Nigeria, but they are making billions there. And they don't have any intention of going there to even see those people whose resources they are, because they are living off. They don't have any intention of being there. Nigeria secured that for them. Now that means that you get to see that the unseen hands that won't want this to happen, right? They will be cut off. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. But the criminals, like I mentioned, right, this vested interest, there are those that will give you 1 million reasons that it is actually very perfect to continue to wallow in this motion without movement. I've been a movement without motion country, where everybody just keep going in circle and lamenting and complaining and dying and waiting to be killed or to be like, give you something better. There is another person speaking on the matter.
There was a presidential pardon some few days ago, whereby the president pardoned a lot of people, and it sparked a lot of controversies around the country. Now, why people are complaining is that the president pardoned a lot of people that did dangerous crimes, and he has set them free, even without completing their sentence in jail. Now, for example, there is a kidnapper that he kidnapped even Mike Ozekome and some other top people, and even unalive some top men, and the president have pardoned such man. Now, my take on this particular matter, I will give you my take. But before my take, now there is a family of one Hausa family like that. Now the wife unalives the husband. I remember that case trended online, where the follow of the case, the family of the man took the case to court, and last they sentenced the woman to prison. Do you know that the presidents have pardoned that woman, have granted her pardon? That woman has returned home. Now, while people are looking at the case, the family of that man have said that this is the worst injustice ever in the history of Nigeria. That somebody that unalives their son, the president have granted her bail to go and pardon her to go. Now, let me tell you something. If such a thing have not happened to you as a family, you will not understand that where this family, their pain is coming from. Their son got married to a woman, the woman unalives the son, and now the president have granted the woman pardon. No, this is not fair. How do you want the family to be happy? How do you want the family to live when their son, okay, did he bring back their son? You see, that this country don't allow them to unalive you. Don't allow them to take your life. Wallahi tallahi. There is no justice. I am not happy with this one that the president did. Wallahi tallahi. I'm not happy that Allah. Drug barons, you are releasing them. We are saying that the problem of this country now, we are saying that the people that are committing the crime is too much. We are thinking of how to reduce them. Now you are bringing the ones that we have reduced, you are bringing them back inside. Now the country is now filled up with people that are doing crime. I watched a video online that is trending currently, where they say that bandits came in Katsina State, they came to a premises to come and do a peace deal. You need to see the guns that these people are holding. You need to see the amount of people. You see how there are many in Katsina State. Look at how there are many with guns, plenty guns. Look at how they are many. Look at how they are many. With guns. Who gave them all those guns? Who bought all those guns for them? Do you know, when I saw that video, may God forgive me for what I'm about to say, but this is what is in my mind. It's my mind. You cannot blame me for saying my mind. This is what I feel.